Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday. Welcome to the Best Agent Breakfast Show with me, Charlie Lamdin, coming for the last time from Lisbon. And I want to just start actually by letting you have a quick sneak peek at the view that I've got from where I'm staying at my brother's apartment in Lisbon. It's just such a great city, and if anyone's never been to Lisbon, I really recommend you visit it. It's one of my favorite places in the whole of Europe. We're down here because we've got a family wedding tomorrow. So we had to bring the kids, which is why we decided to drive down. And we drove all the way down from England in my electric car. And everyone worries about range problems, but honestly, we just got from England to Portugal with no range at all in the Best Agent Tesla, which is parked outside, and saved a fortune on fuel. Anyway, enough about that. I wanted to. Mark, yeah, sorry for rubbing it in. Well, you're in New Zealand, Mark. It's pretty nice out there as well. I happen to know. I've been there. I know what an amazing place New Zealand is. So I'm not going to feel too bad about that. Right. So straight on to today's top story. And there isn't really a top story of the day. A lot of stuff happened yesterday with the local elections. Halifax house price index came out. There was news out today reacting to yesterday's price on application story. And I wanted to just start with that because actually the Best Agent Breakfast Show got a little mention on Estate Agent Today this morning after my comments yesterday. Let me clarify this first and foremost. I don't think that price on application being used or not being used is a big enough problem to be getting news coverage. My reaction yesterday was to the National Trading Standards declaring what the law said or meant when there's been no change in the law and saying using POA is illegal. Well, that was my position of dispute. I mean, in the story, which I will show you here on EAT, Rightmove said that it has around 3,000 listings, so 0.3% of properties on its website. It's not a big issue. Zupa said 0.74%. And then, yeah, there we are. Me accusing trading standards of scaremongering. I do think, I'll just stand by that, right? I think that if you tell people that they are committing a criminal offence suddenly, when it's on something that they've been doing for a very long time, since 2008, since the law that they are citing is the problem came into effect, when actually nothing's changed in the law to make that happen and no one's ever been prosecuted for it, I think it's scaremongering. So I stand by that comment. But listen, hey, it's just not a big issue. I think there are so many really big problems facing both movers and agents that this amount of news coverage for a small thing isn't really worth it. So storm in a teacup, I think. The other general theme running through the news a lot, which actually that POA story came on the back of, is the coming legislation to improve upfront property information. And I generally think that that is a good thing for everybody concerned. I think it's true that there are some very poor quality agents out there who don't do basic checks on property information to find out that there are going to be problems. And that wastes everybody's time. It wastes the agent's own time, their client's time, and the buyer's time when things that could easily have been discovered early on don't get discovered till later. That's just sloppy, lazy, bad agency. And so I don't think it's a bad thing that more basic upfront property information is going to be required for marketing property. That can only be a good thing. If you disagree, let me know. Please let me know in the comments if you disagree. But I think generally that is a good thing. How am I doing for time? 5 minutes. Okay. The Halifax house price indexes this morning, and there's no big surprise. Prices went up another 1% in April, according to Halifax, which is, by the way, I think their data sample is not as big as everyone suggests. I don't know what it is, but I remember having a conversation with someone that knew it's not a very big data sample, so it's not too much to go on. And it made me realize that, and this brings me on to my tip of the day, actually. too much discussion about average house prices and national house prices, I think, is a red herring. I know that it's a very effective way of engaging potential customers to talk about house prices. But what I think agents often forget, and I'm going to offer you a friendly reminder here, is that to an individual property seller, average house prices are of no consequence whatsoever. It's interesting, yes, for everyone to know what's happening. Are they going up? Are they going down? How's my overall net worth being affected? But average data, whether it's about house prices or your agency's performance, is not helpful necessarily, even if your performance is quite good, better than average, because it still doesn't mean that an individual vendor is going to get the deal that they need from you. And I think it's worth reminding everyone that, because when we did that video where Sam sold her house and got 11 agents around for valuation, it definitely showed up the disconnect between agents' perspective on transactions and vendors' perspective, the deep personal unsettling uncertainty of the transaction. And no amount of average house price knowledge or house price expertise, other than in your local area, of course, is going to actually affect the vendor's situation. So what I think is also something that no one really ever talks about, because it's very hard to measure as far as affecting house prices and house moving goes, is levels of uncertainty. Now, there's a lot of topic about, is there going to be a house price crash this year? Are house prices going to keep going up or coming down? And the truth is nobody knows for sure, because there are too many factors that affect house prices that are outside anyone's ability to predict, including war, energy prices, stock market movements, and the way that money supply, stocks, equities, government debt, it's all linked together in a very complicated way that's difficult for anyone to understand, even the experts. But I think what can be said is that with the rising cost of living, with inflation forecast to reach 10% in the UK, I mean, this is staggering. We never really heard about inflation at that sort of level, except for sort of South American countries back in the 80s. 10% inflation is a really bad thing, and we've all got to hope that it doesn't last very long. But there's no knowing how it's going to last, because energy prices have just become wild. It's the Wild West in energy prices at the moment. And so what's, I think, difficult to disagree with is that uncertainty is high and getting higher. And the future is looking less and less certain. And that is a reason for anyone who needs to move house to get on and move house, I would agree. But insofar as it affects agents, it doesn't matter what prices are doing, it only matters what transactions are doing. And there still seems to be more demand than supply, both in sales and in lettings. So prices are going up, up and up, but signs are looking that's going to change. Now, that doesn't mean a crash, right? A gentle 5% correction over the course of a year is not a property crash. Property crashes are very, very rare. And I think it's being a bit overblown. So I would, when you're talking to potential customers, this is my tip of the day, about moving house, I would show that you have a grasp of an understanding that things are very, very uncertain for consumers now, more than they ever have been, especially at lower price levels, especially at average and below price levels. I think people are going to be on very, very tight budgets. Mortgage payments are going up, property energy is going up, etc. So that's my tip of the day. Just try to actually probably talk about more the uncertainty that your customers are feeling, rather than endlessly going about house prices. I hope you enjoyed that. Please continue to contact me on social media, give me your comments, share this with anyone else you think is interested. Have a fantastic weekend. On Monday morning, I'm going to be coming to you, I think, from a hotel in Spain on our road trip back to the UK. Have a great weekend. We've got a family wedding tomorrow, which should be lovely. I hope you've got something good planned this weekend. And I will see you on Monday morning at 7:45. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.